back to One Shots. I'm Knox.
What up, y'all? Kiko.
And Nickums.
And we are back kicking off season 3 of this series. This is our live manga podcast that we have every other Wednesday at about 9 p.m. Central Standard Time here in the States. It's then uploaded to Patreon the next day, and then a couple days later, YouTube will get it. So that'll give you a couple different ways to consume the episode if you miss it live. One being to support us through Patreon, or you can wait for it to hit YouTube, whatever works best for you. But we are joined tonight by a good buddy of ours. We got Mello Yenis. You might remember him from our weekly Shonen Jump coverage. Mello, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us, bro.
I'm doing fantastic.
Yes, glad to have you back. We wanted to have a big conversation because we are talking about the finale of Chainsaw Man tonight. This is something that ended while we were on break in between seasons, and you guys, I'm sure, have been dying to hear our thoughts on it. We've been dying to speak on it, so here we are now, and I cannot wait to get into it. What is going on, chat? How are you guys doing? Barikwa Mihawk, Mad Libu, Yato Plays, Official Void. Got a whole bunch of new faces and a whole bunch of OGs. This is good.
Yeah.
Good mix.
Yes, absolutely. But what's going on, gentlemen? How are you guys feeling? What is good? We're finally talking about Chainsaw Man. What is up?
Long time coming. Worst timing for the ending to happen right on our break or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I'm hyped for this,
absolutely.
I dabble in Chainsaw Man from time to time. So like,
the pinky toe in, sometimes.
Yeah.
It's that hankering sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got 2 chapters to talk about tonight, so we will treat this like our regular Project Manga weekly Shonen Jump reviews, but it's just Chainsaw Man. So we'll go at chapter 96 discussion, chapter 97 discussion, then we'll hang out with you guys before we round off the stream. But okay, Chainsaw Man Part 1 finale. So I don't know if you guys want to get right into chapter 96, or if you guys have any like ceremonial, things you want to say before we jump into the discussion or whatever. But
I mean, in terms of ceremony, like, I guess I was almost imagining keeping it for the end, but I will say that, like, Part 1 ending at the end of 2020 basically completely solidified for me that Chainsaw Man manga of the year for me. Like, we have introduced, me and my wife, we have introduced so many people to reading Chainsaw Man who don't read manga, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, read this, and everyone is loving it. It's just peak fiction. It's one of the best things I've ever read, and, like, I'm so excited to talk about the ending tonight. Ooh.
Love to hear that.
Yes. Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't follow that. Let's just get right into it.
All right, chapter 96. What's good? Mello, it's been a while since you've been on the show. Let's start the conversation off with your thoughts on Chainsaw Man chapter 96.
All right. So, number 96. One of my favorites with Makima in that she is vulnerable for the first time.
Yeah.
In 3 different ways. First way, she smokes cigarettes. First time she's ever seen doing that.
Never seen her smoke.
She coughs. She's never seen her smoke. She coughs. She's not used to it. She's vulnerable.
Yeah.
She talks. She has a heart-to-heart, literal heart-to-heart, about what she hopes for what she truly desires. No lies, no schemes, just what she's really about.
Right.
And then something happened that wasn't within her expectations. And those are the 3 ways she's vulnerable right off the bat.
Right.
First time in the series, period.
Right.
Everything has always been
said.
in her expectations. And a little bit of the horror movie. Because, like, the reason I think that a lot of people that don't read manga that really like Chainsaw Man, but love, like they read that, but they don't really like manga, the reason is they usually like movies. And I think that Chainsaw Man is just such a good use of, like, media tropes. And
I agree.
For me, this was that moment of the monster finally goes down. The whole movie finally goes down.
Yeah.
You can't kill a monster in horror movies with a gun. She's been shot, blown up,
a million times.
shot a million times. And the one time you kill her, it's a bladed weapon, melee, classic horror movie cheese.
Sure.
Yes, absolutely. I just love
great.
how Chainsaw Man just feels like a movie buff's playground.
Yes,
you know what I mean? To just pack as much references, Tarantino, the writing style of, like, how characters converse. Like, we've been saying for a long time, it's very Tarantino-esque character interactions. In Chainsaw Man. You know what I mean? So you can feel that this is just a kid in a candy store. Like, what can I throw in here? You know what I'm saying? Justifiably. You know what I mean? And that's just such a cool aspect to Chainsaw Man that I feel like,
for sure.
Casuals might not pick up on that unless they hear about it on Twitter, I want to assume, unless they're movie buffs themselves. So I just like when authors, like, inject things that you got to think a little bit harder to, like, find out, you know what I mean? Or you might have to
Yeah.
jump through a couple more hoops, in order to
Right.
get the reference. You know what I mean? And I feel like it slaps harder when it's delayed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Huge
piggyback a little bit off of Mello, your point earlier about Makima being vulnerable, when she is like in the moment where Denji gives her the whole cha-cha with the chainsaw like right through her midsection, right? I feel like it's like first time she's like had a question mark at the end of like a sound coming out of her mouth. She's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, when is the last time, if ever, she's ever been like,
She's
what?
been confused
Yeah,
about
like,
anything that was going
completely
on.
shook. You know what I mean? Very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool, little things in this chapter. Kind of, obviously the heart to heart that Mel was talking about here too. But
that was
just
gold, bro.
just the the strats here that Denji learned from his time as Pochita, that I can split my heart and that I can plant. Like, that's some heavy shit. Like, I can now plant a fake heart, or I can plant my actual real heart and have like split bodies, basically. And to determine that Makima only determines who people are based on smell, and
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
that goes all the way back to chapter 2. Like, Fujimoto told us that this was how she detected people in chapter 2.
That's right.
Oh my god!
That's
yeah,
right. Wow.
yeah.
I do
She-
remember
Wow.
that. Yes.
She smells Denji, and she's like, and she smells Denji, and she's like, no, Pochita's still alive in you. You have 2 scents. You have 2 different scents. I can smell the devil and I can smell the human. And it's so tight that like this came back as her undoing, right? Like this Denji, obviously we don't put him way up there in the intellectual category, but he says, like, after all this time, that all this period of time with her, like, I've deduced that this is actually how she's what's going on, and this was all his plan, right? Like, he even tells
So
Kishibe,
great.
like this is what I need to, like, this is the best chance at beating her, and Kishibe don't even trust him. And I don't know if Kishibe had a better plan. It'd be cool to see if like Kishibe had
Kishibe did have a better plan. Nick said it on the review. He should have went and killed the prime minister, got that contract out of here. That would have been the coldest scene ever.
Yeah.
That was so interesting to get another perspective of how to get around the contract. Like, obviously, we didn't think of the fact that maybe the contract had like very, very specific wording, or maybe that devil contracts generally work, as Kishibe said, as a matter of perception. So Denji didn't perceive his actions as being violent or an attack, so they didn't activate the ability as if they were an attack. Like, so interesting that's another thing in play, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, their
Oh,
whole
yeah.
power system is based on perception. Like, devils suddenly becoming weaker because they're afraid. They're like, hey, you hurt me. Now I'm afraid. Now you have the upper hand, and it's gonna snowball.
Yeah.
Like,
Or your power, decreasing because people aren't scared of you anymore.
Other people perceive you differently.
Because the public is like, yo, Chainsaw Man is that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is our homeboy. So now no one's scared of chainsaws anymore. Your power decreases. I thought that was a really cool line of dialogue to get like later on in the series. And I do want to touch on, because Kiko said, Denji's like known to like kind of like not be the biggest brain player on the chessboard, and we know that. That's an undeniable fact. He is kind of an airhead, you know what I mean? But he's really quick on the uptake when it comes to like training, combat, tactics. He's and Fujimoto like does it in a subtle way to where, you know what I'm saying, like Denji's like bro titties, you know what I'm saying, like 9 times out of 10. But then when it's like time to like sit down and like actually like do something serious, Denji always like pulls it out, you know what I mean, in those moments in ways that like don't seem out of character, you know what I mean? Because when he goes to train with Kishibe, and then he, after that training is finished and he goes to do the Katana Man fight round 2 on the train or on the bus or whatever, you know what I mean? And you find out that he can use the chainsaws in, coming out of his feet or his legs now. And we get that like flashback, or we don't really get a flashback. It's actually just a subtle visual storytelling cue that's not focused on in the actual scene, where it shows like Denji's like pants ripped up from the training and all of the scratches all over the floor and shit like that. So like Denji can take like, like shit like that and like make it work in the moment, which is like really cool for his character, because you're like, wait, why is Denji like smart all of a sudden in this chapter? And it's like, no, we've kind of been building towards this strategically inside of his characters, kind of throughout the series, in my opinion.
I think he's always been smart, but like, A, he's never had an education, and B, he was in it like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. He never got beyond survival, and so he never has a lot of high emotional intelligence. But he is observant. He tries not to judge people, even though everyone underestimates him the entire series, and that's kind of his thing. Is that everyone underestimates me. everyone sees what they want to see.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pay attention to you. I'm going to try to see you for you, or at least what you're presenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like Denji's like little growth. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get drastic shonen power ups, Zenkai boost, nothing like that exists in this series. You know what I mean? So when you see Denji grow, it's always in like, you know, in fresh, like inventive ways to use a power that we already knew he had. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not like he's getting wholly new powers. He's not getting some hand wavy,
natural.
You know, act of God. You know, it always feels natural. It always feels right, and it always feels. You know, it always feels like it makes sense inside of Denji's capabilities from what we've seen so far.
Yep.
So.
And it's noticeable. It's not too subtle that you don't pick up on the fact that he is definitely growing over the course of the series, for sure.
Yeah. It's a very masterful power scaling that's explained 100% of the way. Like
100%.
Handheld, like entire way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Kind of going back a little bit to the chapter focus here on 96. Talking about how Denji split his hearts into two pieces so they can fight, you know, as a shadow clone hiding under the corpses, which is a good callback to Aki.
Yes.
But aside from that, even just the fact that he manifests, or it's not, he's forming a chainsaw out of Power's blood.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful how the head of the chain, it's his Chainsaw Man head, but it has Power's horns on the head.
Yes.
And
you didn't see that?
No.
Oh, dude, that shit blew me when someone pointed that out. I think it was in our Discord.
I didn't even realize that.
Horns.
Yes.
That's wild.
So beautiful too. He has like, what does this mean going forward as far as for just the strength, his power growth? Because it's like, if he's tapping into power like this, and he is going to have her blood within her, it feels like,
he did say he used all of it, I think. He said I used most, I wound up using every last drop of blood that she gave me to make the chainsaw.
And to keep himself alive without his heart.
Yeah. But certainly the chainsaw was the remainder of the MP.
That also means that like this situation could arise again, right? Like he could take in the blood of another. Well, I don't know. It's not the blood devil, so maybe not. Maybe it couldn't arise again. But yeah, it was really cool. It's like, okay, I injected her blood into you, and it's basically not letting you heal because I have X amount of blood devil abilities now because I have her blood in me. So it's more than just I'm using her blood to survive and to as a mana pool to conjure, you know, or manifest the chainsaw. It's actually I have, you know, some of her ability. Like I have my will is within this ability, and this blood is attacking you, or maybe even not. Maybe the subconscious of the blood devil and Power still in there.
He said I'm making it run amok within you, and of course, like again, it could be subconscious that Power's subconscious in Denji is doing what he would want her to do,
and he can feel that, so therefore he can communicate that to Makima.
I think it's a little bit of both because their Power and Denji's arc was two strangers who didn't understand each other, didn't know each other at all, forced into contact, and then forced to learn about each other. And Makima was just like, I want you to get together. I want you to love, like, care about each other, understand each other. She tells Denji that, like, the things are better when you know someone. And so, like, there's that little twist right there that Makima used all those things against him, and all the things that she gave him was her undoing, and I just
yeah, dude, that's beautiful.
Complete backfire. It's just poetic. It's poetic because like Denji had to cut out his heart to kill the person he loved.
That's beautiful.
To cut down the person that he loved, and he was only able to do that with the support of his friend. Who you know, like.
Was introduced through the person he loves,
coming out of the massive growth that Denji got from fighting Aki too, which was Makima's fault. You know what I mean? It's just the way that you just broke that down, bro.
100%.
It feels more full circle now than it did before.
It does. It was like super gratifying. Like when I read that chapter the first time, it like I had like hairs run up all the way.
Chills.
I was like,
for sure.
I was like, this is it. This is like I don't know why. I'm kind of glad this actually happened during the break because it just gave me time to like really like emotionally and intellectually like break it down and figure out like why is this so satisfying
right
as an ending.
Yeah.
One more thing about the scene that you're talking about, Kiko, with the chainsaw made from Power's blood, and it looks like Power has her horns or whatever. This is very well known, but I just want to say it just in case people don't know this. If you look at the panel itself, this is a callback to the first Jump cover of Chainsaw Man, where it shows Denji with the chainsaw with Makima reflected in the blade. This is a throwback to the very first Jump issue cover that Chainsaw Man got.
That shit blew my mind too when someone pointed that out.
Amazing. I did not find that out, but if you don't know that, you got to know that for sure.
That is definitely mind-blowing information. Everyone, I want to see if anybody reacts to that in the chat. But another thing that I want to mention while we're on this panel, so with Makima's reflection in the chainsaw, look at Makima in the physical space. Yeah, she looks like Makima, but just has a rather excited or confused expression on or whatever. But it's Makima. But in the reflection, she looks like very not Makima, bro. You know what I mean? Well, look at her face.
It looks like she's looking at you. Yeah. But from the side, she's not looking at the chainsaw. So she's looking ahead, away from the chainsaw, but the reflection is looking towards the viewer as if she's looking at the chainsaw. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Dorian Gray painting, right? Almost. Or whatever. You guys ever seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or whatever? There's that vampire dude that can't look at his picture or whatever.
Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray, I think that's what I said.
You did,
Yeah. But Kiko, sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
But no, I wanted to talk about this because to me, I feel like she, in the reflection, looks confident still because this is still all going part of her plan. This is all going according to her plan. She wanted to be eaten, right? Like she wants, she's now gets to actually pursue her real dream, right? And that's dipping a little bit into that last chapter. But, Kishibe says Control Devil just wants, to have a real relationship with people, and there's just no way she's ever been able to live without the control, the fear of power, whatever, the fear of control over people. It's just I guess the Control Devil instincts taking over, and the fact that I'm sure the Control Devil, in this last chapter, she's been reincarnated as a little girl. If the government got her at this age, then you get to mold her however you want, and she was just going to turn out to be Makima again anyway. So Makima knew she had to get out of this situation in a way that she can't be recovered, that the Control Devil can't be recovered by the government, and just rinse and repeat.
Right.
So I feel like she's happy. I feel like even though it does, you see surprise, you see this and that, I feel like even though she's not being eaten by Puchita per se, which was more her dream, I guess, or her goal. Right. This is still going according to plan.
Yeah, and you want to know what, dude? I hadn't even thought about this. It's it's icing on the cake inside of a story like Chainsaw Man to have the villain that you've been waiting to learn everything about. Well, first you get the reveal that she is a villain. Period. Then you're like, holy shit, that's crazy. Now I need to know everything. And then Fujimoto doesn't give you anything for a really long time. And then you finally do get it. And you're like, okay, now that I know everything, I'm ready for her to be pissed and go out angry. I'm ready for her to regret everything that she ever did, eat all of her words, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But Fujimoto wrote her in a way to where she wants this to happen. So we can't even get the satisfaction of feeling like we won at all. You know what I mean? We did not beat this character. We gave her exactly what she wanted in the end, which is just holy shit.
She wanted something noble and good, really. And just like Kishibe says, there was no way she could have gone about it with her being the Control Devil and the governmental,
influence.
Molding.
She was trying to do the right thing the wrong way.
Yes.
Very
I think it's
wrong
funny
way.
because when Kishibe is talking to Makima at gunpoint, she does say, Chainsaw Man is the only one I respect. And if he defeated me and consumed me like the rest of them, I wouldn't be upset.
Yep.
Even if she doesn't consider Denji to be Chainsaw Man. And I think that's really interesting because it's I don't know. I think there's this one moment where Denji finally this is the episode that Denji outgrows her.
Right?
Yeah,
where she says, "You don't think," and he just cuts her off. He's like, "Hey, I've listened to your every word, hung on your every single word," and I'm just like, "No, of course I don't think this is enough to kill you, stupid. How dumb do you think I am?"
Yeah, that's a good point. Has Denji ever just
talk back
to Makima, cut her off in the middle of her sentences? You know what I mean? No. That's a really good point, bro. Nice spot.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. So wait, do we get the Oh no, because 96 ends with him. So this is how you taste Makima or Miss Makima, and then we find out what happens.
Itadakimasu.
With the reincarnation or whatever in the next chapter.
Eating a person is some shit, right? Like it's like
completely unexpected, right?
So I think we had a conversation about how brilliant this scene is with him talking to Makima as he prepares her and eats her.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I want to say we had a really cool conversation about it. I think Kiko had like a really cool thought about like how, or maybe it was Nick, or I can't remember, but I remember that we talked about this already. In like one of our group chats or whatever, and someone said something really fucking cool, and I wish I could remember.
Yeah, I forget.
But me too. I say a lot of things.
Yeah, but this is cool, man. It's like this scene of Denji just like calmly, trying to find the words that I can use to describe this. He's very calm. He seems very matured. You know what I mean? Like you can really feel like his growth. I feel like in this scene. More than like we have a lot of examples of his growth or whatever, but like this one really spoke to me because coming out of the like mental, shattering that Makima did, you know what I mean? Like with the chapters leading up to this final fight and then coming back out of it to see this Denji very enlightened. He seems liberated, you know what I mean? Like he's just like, oh shit, man. So this is, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what I just love seeing Denji feel like he's put it all together because he has just not been put together this entire series.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It feels like a crystallization of like all his growth because like this is like I think like even when he was like breaking down to Makima like I can't handle any of this. This is like one of his most mature conversations. Period. Because half the time he's just like, I don't want to do this, or I want this, I want everything, I want all this stuff, and he's very manic in the way he reacts to things, or just straight disrespect because he doesn't like people. And this is like, hey, this is as calm as he's ever been.
Yeah, like for real though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just so.
And this
cool
is just one
that.
chapter.
And
like,
this is just
whole,
one.
It's the perfect wind down.
Yes.
Like, go to work, come home, make dinner.
Yeah.
Relax. Like.
Yeah. And it's interesting to get his cool-headed like relaxation in this scene because like Kishibe said to him as he's like about to start eating, right? He's like, I would really like it if you could hurry this up because people are constantly dying. Like all of these pieces of Makima and these Tupperwares that are like wrapped up with rubber bands or whatever.
They're trying to reform.
They're like regen. And Japanese people are constantly dying constantly forever until from the beginning of this scene to when Denji's done eating. Like, so he's like, you should like try and hurry it up, but like I understand you can't rush bodily functions, right? If you're not hungry, you're not hungry. And Denji's like, I'm gonna take my time. It's all good. It's like, oh damn, dude.
Let the kids die. Whatever.
And what type of hungry do you need to be to eat a person anyway, right? Like this isn't even just regular bodily functions, like you really gotta psych yourself. I don't know.
Well, he's already eaten puke.
I guess
you know what I mean. Like he's already,
and he's been hit with blood constantly in the mouth.
He's
What's that,
eaten
Mello?
a lot of think about like his like general diet prior to meeting Makima, like eating moldy garbage, or the fact that like while he's fighting Makima, he's just like when he fights the Infinity Devil, this stuff tastes like sewage. Your blood tastes like sewage. But as long as you're suffering, I'll just shovel it down.
Fuck it.
Like,
oh my god, now that you reminded me of that, that was like my favorite moment in the entire series when I first read that. I was like, damn, that's bad.
It tastes like strawberry milkshakes. That's what all that pink reminded me with like the mystery juice.
Oh yeah. The extreme juice.
Extreme juice,
God damn.
Mystery pot. I'm like, all right. Don't say it's a mystery pot. It's only got one thing in it.
I want to say it's another. I want to say that Denji's willingness or how easy it seems for him to be able to eat a human being, I feel like I want to say stems from just like a culmination of everything he's been throughout the series, just like wearing down on his his morality, and things. Like, he clearly is like shrugging off what Kishibe said, like, I'm gonna take my time. Obviously, if Kishibe is saying what he's saying, it's because people are dying. I very much subscribe to that idea that that's why Kishibe is saying that to Denji. You know what I mean? So I'm with you on that, Nick. But like the way that Denji's just like, yeah, it's all good, bro. Like, I'm a chill. People are dying, but like, I'm gonna chill. Then I'm gonna eat a human. It's like, what kind of person do you have to be?
That okay,
what
and
kind
the
of
person
teenager
you have to be,
do you have to be?
The kind of person you have to be is what Kishibe said just before he leaves Denji to his deed. He says, "Hey man, like, I just want to let you know, out of all the devil hunters I have met until now, you are the one most suited to this job because he's fucking crazy." You know what I mean? Like,
he is crazy.
Like, he's nuts. He's unhinged to be able to eat a human, to be able to go through all the things he's gone through in this series. Yeah. He is just a tremendous human being. You know what I mean? Like, extreme conditions, able to be, handled.
And still be himself at the core at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I just want to have sex, a bunch of sex. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, there's my Denji.
But something I don't know if I said this to you, but since Part 2 will be in Jump Plus, it's very, I don't know how very I feel like it's possible that we actually get a flashback to Denji dismembering and preparing Makima, getting her ready for consumption, bro. That would be so wild.
We could totally get that scene.
Yeah,
I feel
Jump Plus,
I feel like Fujimoto big brain this because Fire Punch was in Jump Plus, right?
I don't know that.
I don't know. But
I think someone told me. I think someone told me that it was in Jump Plus. If it was in Jump Plus, then like obviously Fujimoto knows that he's going to write.
It had sex.
Oh, they did?
It was Jump Plus. It was Jump Plus.
I knew that someone told me that. So it's like if Fujimoto's first book was in Jump Plus, and he's going to write his next book, and he knows that it's of a similar tone, as Fire Punch, but it's going to go in Weekly Shonen Jump instead. I don't know what strings were pulled. I have no idea how it works over there, but I feel like he used Weekly Shonen Jump as the platform to get more eyes on his work, and then he can go back home to Jump Plus to finish telling his story for real. You know what I mean?
Or Shueisha figured, why let this mastermind just sit on this big brain story writer just sit on Plus by itself? True. Let's make sure we can just barely get it under in regular Weekly Jump. Sometimes you got to sign in to be 18 if you want to see a 4-way fucking orgy or something.
Imagine that conversation at the table, right? It's like, so Fujimoto, what did you have in mind for Chainsaw Man Part 1? You know what I mean? It's like, this. And it's like, okay, I think we can work with that in Weekly Shonen Jump. What are you thinking about for Part 2?
Yori
does it.
We can accept the cannibalism. The only caveat is you can't show a single nipple. Fine. All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, I can see Fujimoto like just being like
about it.
The Eric Andre of shonen manga. It's like, what can I or can't I get away with? You know what I mean? Like, how many times did he have to go to editorial and be like, can I do this?
Tone it down.
And have them be like, no. You know what I mean? Like,
what about now?
Yeah. But I could just totally see them being like, okay, Part 2's way too crazy, obviously, for Weekly Shonen Jump, so here's what we'll do. You're a fucking masterclass writer. Let's take this Part 1. It's kind of fucked up, but I feel like this pushes the limits as to what we can allow here, so go crazy inside of that perimeter, and then, boom, blow the doors off, get you back home to Jump Plus, get more eyes on the entire Jump Plus section, because people want to continue that Chainsaw Man. So now people who would have probably maybe never went to the Jump Plus arm, of Shueisha or the Jump Plus section of the magazine or whatever, or the publication line, now those eyes are there, and now they're gonna go there and be like, okay, Chainsaw Man's here, I might as well check out everything else, in this area. Whoa, Kaiju number 8, Jigo Karaku. Whoa, you know what I mean? Like, I could totally see them being like, this is a gold mine, all across the board.
But I mean, since we're already talking about this, I think I kind of wanted to save it till kind of towards the end, but fuck it. I mean, we're already talking about next parts and whatnot. So like Part 2 feels like we're going to have a slice of life situation, right?
Kind of. Obviously, there's going to be or whatever. He wants to try to be a regular person. Yeah.
He's in school, which is a great callback to his time with Retsei, of course, which is beautiful. But like part 2, we're saying, we're going to Jump Plus, and part 3? I mean, are we going to go to like just full Saint or part? Because I assume that there will be a part 3, just on the fact that the part 1 says the end of the arc at the end of it. Like it says end of, public safety arc. And it's just like arc. That means like there's 5 parts? I don't know, but at least 3. But it would be crazy. Like if it actually did crescendo all the way to a seinen and was put in like weekly Young Jump.
Let's
or something
go.
like
I'm here for it.
That'd be so sick.
I'm ready.
Because part 3 is going to be
private school.
Well, part two is going to be the slice of life, but there's going to be some really fucked up psychological things that put you into, plus probably, of course, other things on top of that. But like part 3 could easily be the hell arc, right? They're actually in hell, and that full blown seinen, right?
Wait, this is perfect. This is perfect timing. So we are jumping into part 2 conversation. We've not talked about chapter 97 yet, the final chapter. Mm-hmm. So let's perfect segue into chapter 97.
Yeah, I think I'm good on 96 too.
Yeah. So let me start us off on 97 in terms of the conversation, the thing that you're just exactly talking about right now, Kiko.
Yes.
So chapter 97, let's skip a little bit ahead. We got we have Makima's reincarnation, Nayuta, right? Mm-hmm. Nayuta has been born in China. Now, this is a question that I've had in my mind.
Japanese name then. No,
it's hard to say. Like, is it like a Japanese reading of a Chinese name or something?
Sure.
But
or did they just give her a Japanese name because they have her now?
Right.
It's a fake name. Sensei stole her from China. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. So here's the question: why did the Control Devil respawn in China and not Hell? My opinion on the matter is that Hell literally does not exist anymore. The concept of Hell is gone.
Yeah, because he ate the Hell Devil in
ate the Hell Devil
chapter 90 or some shit.
Yeah, chapter 91 or chapter 91 was when Power reminded us, when devils die in this world, they're reborn in hell, but I won't be me anymore. Now, chapter should have written down somewhere here. In this most recent arc, though, regardless of what chapter it is, when the public safety summons the Hell Devil, and then the Hell Devil brings Chainsaw Man into hell, the page we have literally when Makima explains when devils die, when Chainsaw Man eats someone, that they're completely removed from existence, you know what I mean? And Kishibe is like, oh, Nazis, what is Nazis, right? Because the Nazi devil was like eaten by Chainsaw Man. Mm-hmm. That literal page where she says that like if Chainsaw Man eats something they're removed from existence, that page, he's literally eating the arm of the Hell Devil, the centaur-looking thing from before. Yeah. So my theory is hell is non-existent anymore. There's no more hell. Every devil that was in hell, who knows where they went? I assume to Earth, the Earth plane. Yeah. But now every devil that dies immediately just respawns in Earth, right? It doesn't make any sense, because otherwise you kill Makima, Control Devil would go to hell, Chainsaw Man would have to kill the devil in hell to respawn it on Earth, right? That's how it works.
From what we know.
Wow,
from what we know.
Denji's just gonna be Kirby, essentially, by like part 3, where he's like, okay, there's so many devils. If we kill them, they just come back. I have to eat everything. Chainsaw Man, Nightmare in Dreamland.
Chapter 84. Chapter 84 is where he eats the Hell Devil.
Mm-hmm. What did you say, Melo?
Because Makima uses like 7 of them. He's like, these weapon devils and these X amount of devils, these 7 you have eaten, but they came back. Mm-hmm. Why is that? And
wait, which devils? Which devils?
It was like the weapon.
The devils. Hybrid devils.
Yeah, the hybrids.
Like after she broke him mentally, she had 7 devils, like Garugari and all them, and the flamethrower devil and the bow devil and the whip devil and the spear devil. And I think the way she referred to them, it was just like you've eaten them before and they came back. So why is that? That's special.
He ate like the devil that represented hybrids. Like, I think the concept of hybrids isn't a thing anymore. Like, there's no word for it because it's been removed from existence, but they still exist. One of them
actually represented the idea of like hybrid.
I feel like that's what she said. I know what you're talking about, Mel. I know exactly like the dialogue you're talking about.
There's been a few that like escaped that thing, and like I think that like Power kind of giving up and like being absorbed by Denji could be considered eating or being consumed by them. But she's like, hey, if I get reborn, find me, make them your friend again. That's how it's on.
Right. And Power knowing about what hell is in chapter 91 with that scene, like, come find me as the future Blood Devil with no memories. Her remembering hell makes sense because, like, I think the devil's memories are intact until they die, right? So like Makima has been alive for like thousands of years, right? And so she remembers almost every single devil that Denji, or rather the Chainsaw Man, has killed, right? And so she remembers them. Nayuta does not remember these devils, but so Power remembers that hell existed because she was alive, or pseudo alive, at that time or whatever. But I think going forward, my theory is that we will never hear of the concept of hell again. You know what I mean?
That would be
That'd be
crazy.
wild.
That would be,
I think it's wild,
sick.
and there's an old saying that is more of like from a play. Hell is empty, and all the devils are here. On Earth. Like the guy borrows from so many different things
In the most respectful way possible every time.
Right.
It's ridiculously respectful. He's a gentleman.
So I got a little bit. I mean, if he ate Makima though, that should have happened to Makima though, right? Like the control devil should have ceased to exist. But it's Denji eating her. Well, I'm just saying it's Denji, and maybe it's not like doesn't count the same way. And also
if
perception
Chainsaw Man ate Makima, control as a concept would no longer exist. There would be no control devil ever again.
Yeah, and he ate the Hell Devil as Pochita, like fully realized.
But
as full Chainsaw Man, so that's gone.
Yeah, it could also be the perception thing too. Is that this was not an attack? This was out of love. I ate her out of love, which is crazy
one,
weird.
it's not.
Right.
Yeah, we became one.
Mello, the thing you were talking about was page 1 of chapter 87, and Makima is saying they are not humans, devils, or fiends. The name that referred to them was eaten by you and erased, yet somehow their existence was not. So like basically the concept of hybrids as a concept was so fearful to someone, maybe devils or maybe humans or something, right? The concept of hybrids was so scary that a hybrid devil existed. And then there became hybrids of the bow devil, the spear devil, the sword devil, all these katana devils, that kind of things. And so those devils existed as hybrids, and then the hybrid devil was killed and eaten by Chainsaw Man. But those devils, like they weren't eaten.
They persisted beyond that.
They persisted beyond, right? And so they've never been killed since then.
It could also be a situation that like Pochita eats the devil. Concept is legitimately erased. It never existed. Denji eats, the devil, and then like the memory people have of that thing is erased, but like it still happened in history, and like maybe the concept still exists, but like people just forgot about it. Maybe there's like a halfway point.
I mean, I'm considering when Chainsaw Man ate the Hell Devil in chapter 84. That was the Chainsaw Man. Like no Denji involved at all. And Denji's never eaten anyone else except for Makima, Control Devil. And so in that sense, like the concept of control would not be removed from reality because Chainsaw Man didn't eat it, but she was still killed, like a regular kill, like anyone else could kill a devil, and they would go to hell. But she didn't go to hell. Anyway, we don't got to talk about the existence of hell all night or whatever, but so feel free to jump in with other
definitely
crazy things
cool
from
thought, though. Definitely
It's kind of interesting because like even in like other shonen series, the idea of hybrids being scary is like super prevalent in almost every shonen series. And the idea that there's like, hey, the hybrid devil died, it's like, all right, cool, like it's a version of tropes constantly. It just never stops with this guy. You guys mentioned earlier what's up with the names, and I thought that was really interesting.
What names?
So
Nayuta.
Nayuta and stuff. So Makima means roll, but Makina translates to Chinese black pine.
Whoa.
Okay, so the
it's like an off rhyme. Like the whole thing is an off rhyme because I misspelled it one time when I was like looking up like it's like what does her name mean? It means roll. But like Chinese black pine, and then I was like, I wonder if that's going to be prevalent. And then that chapter happened. I'm like, oh my god,
we got her in China.
Man.
That's interesting.
Well, she's got black hair now. I mean,
and Nayuta is based off a Sanskrit word that represents like a ludicrously large number or strange numbers in Japanese stuff. So like in Japan, the 29th of every month is meat day, where it's like, they go out and have barbecues and all that stuff. And then he has all that meat Like, I don't know. I just think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's very interesting.
Sure,
I want to address I want to address Abby underscore TG. I don't know if it's Abby or Abby, but have you guys seen the Fujimoto interview where he talked about a lot of things, but the most interesting is that he said, "Isn't a chainsaw originally a tool to cut wood? If you cut the ki out of Makima, you get mama. Denji has always been pursuing maternal things." And I remember when I saw that, I think someone put it in the Discord or whatever, but I remember being like, holy shit. But that confirmed a lot. I think it was, I don't remember who the first one to talk about like the womb stuff was. Maybe it was Kiko, maybe it was Nick.
Kiko.
But I just remember I just remember being like, whatever. I just remember being like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And then I think it was Shiloh linked in our Chainsaw Man channel of our Discord that the chainsaw was originally used to help deliver babies, you know, to cut them or whatever.
Yep.
You know, and that was mind blowing too. So like getting all of this, you know, from from the mouth of Fujimoto to confirm a lot of those ideas.
Sure.
I mean, was really fucking cool. But that mama shit is drastic.
Yeah, so you're saying Makima, and then you take ki, which is wood, we'll say. I don't know that off the top of my head, but like we'll just say that ki is wood. If you remove wood, like remove the idea of wood from your concept of chainsaw.
Yep.
It is not related to wood. It's related to delivering babies. Remove the wood, and you were left with mama. That's crazy. That's super wild. Yeah.
I think it's interesting because like in Denji's backstory, only the father is referenced.
Sure.
Period.
Yeah.
The mother is never completely absent.
Never once.
In the entire series.
Never even thought about that till right now.
Like his whole family unit is completely screwed. Kishibe is the crazy uncle. Aki is the older brother. Power is the little knowing sister. Himeno is the aunt friend, or the neighborhood girl, right?
Or the older sister or something.
Older sister. He never has the mom, and then it kind of ties into like the ending with like Nayuta and stuff. He gets a family, right? Like it's like what is a relationship without like a complete disparate power structure? Family. Like Pochita wanted to be hugged by somebody, but he was too strong. Makima wanted a relationship, but she was too strong. And then they find like it's like the descendants of those two devils, right? Like Denji and Nayuta are the offspring of Pochita and Makima in a sense. And Denji's name literally translates into a bequest from the ancestors, a request from the people before you.
That is so cool.
He is living, he is fulfilling all those dreams. And like Pochita is like, hey, I'm going to die before you like a parent. I want you to chase your dreams. I want you to carry on my dreams for me.
Sure.
And then he becomes Chainsaw Man. He carries on the family name, the family legacy, and like because he and Pochita are tight, they are family.
Right.
Nothing in the world, but they are family. He's the family dog, even if it's like that. Like,
Sure.
It's all about family. It
So
always has
cool.
been.
What an awesome thought, dude.
Wow.
Light Raven _ hi. But also they said Denji's mom died from a heart condition. Apparently, I don't remember that in the manga.
Ironic.
I don't remember that either.
Ironic as fuck.
That's ironic.
Wow.
That's ironic as hell. Dang.
Wow.
And that probably helped and medical stuff is expensive, so that probably kind of fueled the whole debt
situation, right?
Sure.
I can see that for sure.
All connected,
Wow.
Damn.
But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like when you were talking about how
wild.
like Chainsaw Man, like full Chainsaw Man, it was Pochita. Like everything he did in that mode was just Pochita fulfilling his promise to Denji. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's just
All of the full circling happened.
no, there was so much full circling. I like to prepare.
there really was.
I read the whole series from beginning to end, and the first episode when they're like, "Zombies, I'm going to eat you," and I'm just like, "Wow, okay, how did I not see this coming from the very beginning?" Like it's just like, "I want to eat you, I want to eat you, I want to eat you," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm sensing a theme now that I've like, in retrospect, should have been obvious."
That's amazing.
Did we ever have a conversation about the zombie devil and like how that works inside of Chainsaw Man, right? Because when you're the incarnation of the fear concept, right? It's like just you, but like zombies are about like a horde, You know what I mean? So
Sure.
like, is the zombie chainsaw or is the zombie devil's ability to make more zombies?
Yeah, I
Right?
think it's the spread.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the spread. Okay, so it's
I think it's like the doll devil, really.
Yeah, I was going
It's
to
a
say
little bit
very
like
similar
Doll
to the
Devil.
doll devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a way we had a conversation about this in our Discord about like what it actually means to be the zombie devil, and the conversation wasn't. I don't think I asked the question properly like in this setting right now, because like if it could have just been answered like that in the conversation, then it wouldn't have been as long of a conversation as it was. But I want to, man, I wish I could remember that, because you just brought up the zombie devil again. It's like, that was such a cool conversation. And I remember being like, man, I want to bring this up on the show. And then I don't think we ever did.
I think it's interesting because like it's not like the classic zombie where it's like, oh, hey, headshots only. It was just A, they are dead, A, they spread, and all they want to do is consume. Just classic George Romero basics.
Yeah.
All right, no frills beyond that. Let's go. Like,
I can say about
stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I was like about the just zombie devil. You think that's got to be among the hardest devils to kill, right? Like, how the hell would you kill a fucking zombie devil, right? Like, regular devils are regenerating, and it's like, what does that mean? You think of undead unluck. It's like Andy type of situation, right? So, like, how would you kill him? Well, he wasn't ever killed. He was taken control of. It was just like a beautifully handled way to okay, we could have this fucking basically feeling like unkillable devil.
Right.
This concept here of undead and devil combined. And how would you get rid of him? You'd either eat him. Chainsaw Man could eat him, or Makima can control him. I mean, maybe there's some other ways to deal with him, but like none of those, like those what come to mind. And I don't know.
Suddenly
like,
lose a genre of movies.
But like, could the Cosmos Devil do shit to the zombie devil? It's like I don't see how you could, right? Like, because even if you're destroying the brain just would regenerate anyway, or whatever. I don't know, the cells. I guess I'm not.
It's a weird thing to think about.
Hey,
real quick though, I
Cosmos
found
be able to do
so I
anything
just
'cause they look like a
my bad.
zombie,
Noah.
like-
Sorry. Go ahead. Start that over.
Well, I was thinking like the Cosmos Devils looks like a zombie. Would it even do anything, or would the zombie just be completely unaffected, except for it just says Halloween in addition to everything else?
Yeah. That'd be hilarious.
Because it's like it's not processing anything. There's no conscious thought.
Exactly.
It's just It's like it's the one thing that's immune to it, and that's why Halloween looks like that. I don't know.
Yo.
No brain, head empty.
I just remembered that you can search in conversation in Discord.
Okay.
So I just searched Zombie Devil in the channel that we were talking about it in, and the way that I originally asked the question was, is it a fear of zombies? If so, why is there more than one of them? Is it because the fear of zombies stems from the potential of frighteningly high numbers of them? If so, is it possible the zombie devil is an army of them, but they're all a hive mind? You know what I mean? So that was the way that I originally phrased the question, which is obviously way different than the way that I just tried to bring it up a minute ago. But then Shiloh was like, well, in chapter 1, it was a single zombie devil who made an army out of the Yakuza. I can't remember for sure how it came back in the Katana Man arc, but it might have to do with zombies coming back to life. That's right, because I originally asked this because we saw the zombies again after the fact.
Yeah.
After they were defeated. Yeah, or whatever.
The Katana Man was actually the grandson of the Yakuza.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Then it's weird because Makima was behind all of that.
Right.
It's so weird to think about. It's just like, and it reminded me of tying back into family, like family drama. You know how like when you're a kid, you're growing, like Denji's a kid, he's 16, and you're slowly hearing things like, your aunt and uncle slip, oh, so-and-so, she's the worst. And then you're like, why is that? No, I love that relative. Why are they the worst? And it's like that kind of growing up and like, because you hear it like Himeno says, they're the worst. Kishibe, they're the worst. All these other adult figures within Denji's life. Oh, Reason. Oh, they're the worst, Oh, you're still with that, like, into that person? It's like, no. And it's kind of like that whole, like, family unit. They all know each other. They're all related somehow. Yeah. And then they're gossiping, and Denji's that young kid growing up through that, hearing it, not quite getting it, and then finally fully understanding. It's a really coming of age story.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Definitely. And there's, just kind of it's kind of in the same vein. Just the fact that Denji has been groomed so well by Makima that he loves her after death and goes this far for her still, right? And so now with this last chapter, well, and Denji is now in a position to groom Makima, right? Or her, but of course he's not going to. But of course he's not going to. But it's just a beautiful, like, how this works and how, like, Denji and Nayuta are both chasing the same dream, really, of both wanting to know genuine love. And, like, so Denji's sense of love is so skewed because what Makima did to him. So he's, like, way off the tracks and is working his way back on to a stable path of understanding what genuine love is. Nayuta's never had the chance at it. Control Devil has never had the chance at it. You got a young devil right here. As long as, you take care of her and, be a good person to her and train her. Teach her, not train her, but like teach her,
guide them.
Guide them in a correct, moral, sane way, then she won't turn into what she was before. And it's just I don't know, it's just really beautiful to have you're going to put Denji really in the same role that he was in now. The role reversal there. And it's going to just be really interesting to see Denji raise her while he's in high school. Yeah. And I thought of just a few funny things. It's like, okay, you got to get Kobene to fucking babysit once in a while, but she's sitting there scared as fuck. She's just scared, get this fucking kid away from me. Yeah. Why did I take this job?
Babysitter, that child is scared.
Why? What did I do? Why am I here? Why did I take this job?
Why am I taking care of this insane child?
I just got what I think is a really cool idea, but history on, I've had a lot of really cool ideas before, and then I say them, and then it's
I saw that
crickets.
brain cell flicker.
But okay, so this is gonna be long-winded, but bear with me because this could be cool. So there's an X-Force story that I just remembered, and I've talked with you guys about it before, where Apocalypse, one of the biggest villains in the X-Men universe, is killed or whatever, and his soul or his life essence is put into the body of a small child. And then the Apocalypse cult takes this small child and brings them to, into their ranks to raise him to be the new Apocalypse. So X-Force is sent to go kill this kid before he grows up to be Apocalypse. And it creates this moral quandary of, do we kill this kid because he could be Apocalypse, even though he clearly is saying, the kid is like, yo, you guys, I get it. I know exactly what you're here for. I totally understand. I don't want to be here. They kind of just took me and I'm just chilling. I'm scared. I don't want to be this Apocalypse thing that you're talking about. So can we just chill? You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're like, no, we got to kill you because you're Apocalypse. Half of the team is saying kill him. Half of the team is saying, no, let's take him in and raise him. And then they're like, no, he's going to be Apocalypse anyway, blah, blah, blah. And it creates that situation. So I'm thinking and then eventually Phantom X just fucking shoots him in the forehead and ends it. But, spoiler. But, in Chainsaw Man, it could be a situation where Devil Hunters, maybe Kishibe passes away or something, and because he's obviously on Denji's side, he's the one, probably facilitating this whole new Makima Nayuta adoption, situation or whatever. So maybe there are Devil Hunters that don't like this idea of raising the Control Devil in the way that they see fit, and they go, fuck that, kill, we gotta get this thing, no, let's just not take the risk. So I mean, it could be a really cool arc to see Kishibe assassinated by other Devil Hunters come in, be like, fuck this Makima shit, they have to protect Makima, or decide should we just let them kill her. That could be a really cool arc.
For sure.
I like that, definitely.
It definitely ties into the idea of are we going to be afraid of what this child represents?
Yes.
More than ever, are we actually going to fear this child?
Right.
And Kiko mentioned it very well. Denji was groomed straight up. His interactions with stuff was affection is transactional. I receive these things. I am rewarded these things. And then that little pin on that moment of the last chapter is I don't know what to do, man. And Pochita's just you don't reward them, just give them lots of hugs. With no request. It was just simple advice, back to basics, to the thing that the love that felt truest to him.
Yes. Oh my
God. At the beginning of the series.
You have such a way with words, Mello.
Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring something up that you mentioned, Nox, in terms of Kishibe's future. Will he get assassinated or something, right? I actually wonder, is Kishibe alive or around anymore at the end of the story? Because in chapter 97, last chapter, so Kishibe is explaining the situation with Nayuta, right? And he says like, I would like to give her to you to raise, right? And Denji's like, say again? And he says, I'm about to get busy. I figured leaving her in your care would be the best course of action. Denji then looks at Nayuta. They have a little interaction. He looks back to his right on this park bench, and Kishibe is literally gone.
Oh, he Batmaned him?
He
Batmaned him.
Commissioner Gordon him.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon.
But is this a Batman situation, or is this one of two things? He had some contract with the devil, and the contract is up. Your body is gone now. You're dead. You're dead now. You're just
the last of it.
Yep, you're removed from existence now. Your contract is up. Or
that's beautiful. Or
is the contract
Nayuta out?
Right. Or
contract his way out?
Right. Or to keep Kishibe around was his contract. After X amount of time, I will be your fiend body host. And you, whatever devil I have a contract with who's on your way out or trying to remove your contracts, you can use my body and I'll be a fiend and you can take over my body. And that happened in that moment, and the devil took over the body and dipped immediately.
Yeah.
Yo, I like both of those ideas. I like your first one better.
Yeah.
I like your first
one better.
idea
I think so.
Too. I just think, because it's like really easy to make a contract. I mean, it's just a really clean contract. Like, I'm going to use your power until the control devil is settled or is under wraps. Yes. And that has to be the key, because obviously Makima was killed and it didn't dispel him or kill him or whatever at that point. So like I really, really like that. That's the one. As soon as you said it, I said, no, that's the one.
Ex-devil, I will give you the last of me if you help me take this girl and help me deliver her to safe hands.
Yes, something like that.
Oh my god, I need the Kishibe spin-off manga.
Seriously.
Kishibe used to say, like, at one point said, it's like, there's hardly anything of me left.
Yeah.
He's like,
no, someone else said that. Someone else looked at him and scanned him for his contracts and was like, this motherfucker
you got
ain't got a lot of time here.
Quanchi
Rice.
And then Pin. I think one of them
Pink
was a Pin or something.
Nail.
Yeah.
Knife, nail.
Yeah.
Another
Fang.
one.
I thought it was Fang.
Sure.
Yeah,
Hangnail devil.
Claw,
I literally just
like
got one and I'm fucking pissed.
I fear that motherfucker bad, bro.
Stop it. Stop. Fear. No fear.
I gotta keep this raid at my computer. I'm
God,
scared.
that shit fucking sucks. I bite my nails, you know what I'm saying? Sorry.
Me too.
Oh no! I accidentally ripped into my whole finger halfway up my knuckle.
Oh my god.
Man.
So what is there anyone that has any like points about chapter 97 in particular that they want to bring up? Otherwise, like, we could talk about like unresolved plot threads.
Yes, I wanted to bring that up actually. So that's perfect, Nick. Because there are, you know what I mean, like, and if there was no part 2 announced, if it didn't say at the end of part 1, if we didn't get an announcement or whatever, and Kishimoto just ended his story this way.
Kishimoto.
You know what I mean? Or I mean Fujimoto.
Boo this man.
How dare you? How dare you?
We're taking applications. I'm now retiring, hanging up my hat. I blew it. Holy shit.
Suddenly
that's almost Magoyan Bleach level. All right, anyway.
I knew that. I knew that's what he was going to say. I just knew he was going to say that. I just knew it.
But no. Sorry, Snooty, but not really. Okay, so in regard to the unresolved things, unanswered questions, unsolved mysteries, if Fujimoto decided to end his manga right here, it's the entire story of Chainsaw Man, the way that he tells his stories, we obviously would just be like, well, that's the way it is, you know what I mean? Like, that's Fujimoto for you, you know what I mean? But because,
you'd be satisfied even, and it's weird that you would be, but then you see that part 2 and you're like, okay, definitely part 2, because there's so much still to do.
But see, there's still so much uncertainty there, because now that we know that there's a part 2, you automatically want to go, okay, we're going to get these questions answered in part 2, but that might not be the case
probably
either.
not.
We'll probably get more questions answered, but then more questions will be raised, obviously, from the storytelling, and then you know, it could be a never-ending situation.
With
like
his
that.
much religious iconography in his stories, Fujimoto is basically like the mangaka equivalent of Rabbi, answering questions with more questions.
Yeah. I called him manga Quentin Tarantino on the timeline. I got ate up in the quote retweets.
Exactly.
They did not like that one. I don't know why.
But he kind of is. Like
he definitely is.
Golden Kamui is the Guy Ritchie of mangaka.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like as Fujimoto is like but that's the
cool
thing.
to
Like
hear.
a lot of like the more recent mangaka have like really been influenced by movies and the media that's been available.
For
And
sure.
you can definitely see like the progression. Like I like how they all reference like things like Hunter x Hunter and each other, but mostly like the immediate predecessors and like what was like the big three or of like our childhoods in addition to like all these movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Whew.
Did
you?
This unresolved plot thread thing. Well, I'm just hyped. Let's.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Nick, do you have any specific unsolved mysteries inside of Chainsaw Man that you?
I have 5 points of unresolved plot threads, and none of them are egregious or major. If Chainsaw Man ended with chapter 97, I would be completely happy with the story. I think it would be a phenomenal ending, personally. But there are, and we can start with like power. We've not resolved the power plot thread, right? And maybe we don't. I mean, if people want to jump in, just jump in and say. But come find me. There's the primal fear devils, first introduced in chapter 64. We've only encountered the darkness devil, but like it'd be sick to see more primal fear devils. You know what I mean? And to get more information about how transcendent are they? Like, and going back to my point earlier of like, does hell exist? Because I think it was Pinksy or was her name, but
I think it's Pinksy.
She mentioned that these are devils that have never died ever. They have been in hell this entire time because they're so powerful. It's even hard to imagine how you would kill them, right? So they like I want to get more of them. The 4 horsemen stuff. So Makima confirmed in chapter 84, I think, or maybe it was like 91, somewhere in there in this battle with Chainsaw Man, that like the 4 horsemen is a literal concept and they do exist. And we have pretty good indications of what they are, right? Like war, famine, or control might be famine,
pestilence,
whatever.
Death, conquer. Let's see. Typically they are war, famine, pestilence,
and death. But pestilence is a new addition, and it was conquest, which is control. You could say so. Like so, Makima is one of the 4 horsemen to get the other 3, and we've hypothesized before that like the big superpowers on the planet, like United States, China, Russia, in this case Soviet Union, and Japan. Japan has the control devil, maybe. United States has war. Soviet Union has something else, So
if anybody's got war, it's the.
Of course, guaranteed. Yeah. So that is a plot thread I would like to see.
Definitely.
As if
hashed out more.
Wasn't war, like.
Oh, go ahead, Mello. Sorry. I don't hear you like.
No,
like just
I'm
yet.
a little soft-spoken. But like. The gun devil to me was almost like the epitome of war a little bit, but there's so many different ways to wage war, so I feel like it's going to be much more
could be a
nebulous.
war devil for like each era or something like that.
Or I'm because like if I think the war devil is going to be anything, I imagine like almost like Pride from Fullmetal Alchemist. It's going to be like a small unassuming figure, and then it'll just project every soldier that ever died or something.
Damn.
And just like cavalries just spawn out of their shadow or something.
That'd be crazy.
What I imagine for war is, you posted this, I think, Knox, in one of our chats or whatever, like Fujimoto drew Captain America or the America Devil, whatever that thing was. It looked like some sort of tribute. Marvel zombie, like a Captain America zombie, whatever that is. That was war. Like guaranteed for me. Like that's like 100%. Just take that, copy paste it straight into part 2. Easy done.
No, because Marvel will probably be like, hey, bro.
Well, I'm just saying
buddy.
that design would be totally fine with me.
That design is too good. You know what I mean? And I want to go back to what Kiko, because Kiko brought up, or somebody brought up the darkness devil or whatever, and people were talking about like what primal fear devils look like. And I remember, I think I've actually brought this up on the show before, but I remember when I had my kid and I was like researching, you know what I mean, like everything about babies and shit, you know what I mean. And I learned in like a book or something that it said that you are born with 2 fears, and then you learn the rest. The 2 fears you're born with are loud noises and falling. So
Damn.
what do those devils look like in Chainsaw Man?
Right.
If they're the ones you're born with. You know what I mean?
A decibel devil.
Yeah. Literally just a giant speaker on a head.
Present Mike.
Yeah, and then he just
Or
fights you like Apu, where like
howling
treble
wind.
is sharp attacks, you know, bass is like
it's
explosive
just Fran
attack.
Drescher laughing the whole time. I'm dying immediately.
It's Scratchman Apu.
I was thinking it would be just like a howling wind because like in hell, like Dante's Inferno, there's the howling wind that's like deafening. And what if that the loud sound devil is just that?
Yeah.
Just a giant formless thing you can't feel.
The sound of silence
Right.
kind of thing. You
See,
know?
see. Now here's the thing. This is another really cool thing.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I'm throwing another comic book reference out there. So we have the symbiotes in Marvel Comics, and they have two hard weaknesses: fire and sound. Right? We've known that since its introduction.
Yeah.
Reed Richards tests it to see what affects it, throws fire at it. It's like, hits it with a sonic boom. It's like, nothing else works. So they're like, okay, fire and sound is this thing's weakness, right? And then decades later, we get the Symbiote Origin from Jason Aaron, I think. And he says that Null was like the god of the void or whatever back in the day. I'm going to do the Reader's Digest version of this to get to the good shit. But basically, at some point, he forged this sword called All Black, and like the forge that he uses when he bangs on it was so loud. And this is like the god. This is like the father of the symbiotes, by the way. So all the symbiotes come from him. They're his children. So they're all, you know, watching him forge this sword or whatever. Whoever forges it, I can't remember right now exactly. But they're forging a sword. The loud sounds of the pounding of the forging is like hurts the symbiotes. So like that is where like that weakness originates. And also it's a forge, so it's very hot. You know what I mean? So that's where the fire weakness comes from. So like the reason why I brought this up is because it could explain like the reason why oh my god, I can't believe I just lost the thought. Like right before I was about to punchline it. So wait, what were you saying, Kiko? Like right before I got into this? Do you remember?
Darkness Devil, Primal Fear Devils.
Oh,
fuck,
Inherited
man.
fears.
I'm just gonna throw the thought away. It's tight.
You're just gonna
silence. I said silence. The sound of silence.
No, I
Heights
lost
Devil.
it. I'm gonna listen to the recording, and then when I remember, I'm gonna hit Twitter with it. That's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. Yeah, there you
great.
go.
That's
There you
good.
go.
That's good.
Yeah. My bad, guys.
Abort.
That was
Abort.
gonna be
Thing
good. I
about, like,
promise.
The nice
Reverse.
stuff about like inherited weaknesses and fears because that's actually really a thing. The reason why people have like certain phobias like arachnophobia, like or other things, we inherit those from our parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
I mean, they tell you when you're young, you know, like what's this? Stay away from this. Don't touch this. Don't, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Yep. And I've never been afraid of spiders. My mom would like put daddy long legs, you know, like completely harmless on her and be like, see, it doesn't do anything. It's fine.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
like
Fuck that. Sorry, Grandma.
like none of my family
We gotta
is
fight
afraid
now.
of cars, but like I kind of am. And so I'm betting my like if I have kids, they might have like a fear of like being hit by a vehicle.
That would be scary as hell, though. You ever seen one of those videos? That's terrifying.
No, it's not great.
I have more unresolved plot threads if we want to keep going into more or whatever. What the fuck are hybrids? And we probably won't get that explanation considering Makima did say like the concept of hybrids is erased and these hybrids that are still around, like they still remember or they still exist. But I would like to know what hybrids are exactly because it's very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, is Denji a hybrid, or is he is he like typical of the breed? So to speak?
Or is he special?
Is he a different type of hybrid?
Is it because the devil willingly contracted to be his heart? And, like to save him, like was like like a very gracious thing, or was it like Power, who is just a devil with super high IQ, or the violence devil, who's just like, hey, I still remember the school that I used to go to.
Yeah.
But both of those were fiends and not devils. But yes. Yeah, definitely all these questions about these specifics about fiends, the specifics about hybrids, and is Denji special, and devils versus hybrids versus fiends. Like, just getting more of the magic system would just be great.
I just remembered why I brought up the symbiote stuff, so I just want to throw this out here. Mello was talking about Dante's Inferno and, like, the howling winds and whatnot, and, like, falling from, like, however far or whatever, and that could be the origin of why humans are born with those fears, if we're like taking it to a biblical sense, as like the reason why people are born with these fears is because of Dante's Inferno, you know what I mean, or something like that.
We fell from grace,
and
the
howling
falling
winds, sonic booms,
sure,
you know what I mean, like loud
Yeah.
noises falling. So that's why I brought it up. I'm glad that I remember.
The thing that I kind of thought was interesting was that Fujimoto has, like, if you go in Fire Punch, right? Both the main characters resolve by no longer be remembering who they used to be, and then they're given the chance to live their lives and like be reborn, or people become who they want to be, is like the punchline. And so I think it's interesting that it, like, most of his stories end that way, where they become like personal connection, warmth, and despite all the violence and stuff, predatory, it always boils down to this one moment of like, hey, we can be together, whatever that means, and be like, give warmth and be happy, and like the idea of forgetting and things. So I think like he's big into reincarnation, but not really into reincarnation. Like in the chat, they were talking about like the 4 possible ends of a death. One of the 4 classic ends, 4 classic ends to death is reincarnation. So maybe a reincarnation devil was defeated or eaten, and so there is no real reincarnation, but the effects of it still happen, right? But like it doesn't actually function. Like the concept of hybrids is dead, but these things still exist. So there's just no word for it. And so the thing might still exist. Reincarnation, the recycling of people and stuff may still exist, but they have to invent a new thing
after they experience it again for the first time, and like like, holy shit, what do we call this?
I mean, I got a couple of these, like, you know, unanswered questions. Like, are we going to explore Denji's backstory before part 1? Right? Like you said, we haven't heard, you know, his mother died of heart failure, his father was whatever. Presumably that those events are even true and happened, because it felt like there was like definitely some warranted skepticism with that situation,
like
because
manipulation,
of Makima's control. Exactly. So it's like, are we going to explore that?
That
would be
dad?
See, but
was that a fake memory?
Right, that could have been a lie.
Is that true?
Memory?
So that's a huge question, you know.
How much of his past is real? Like,
exactly.
And
basically,
if the past that we've heard isn't real, how do we find out what is real?
Right.
You know what I mean? Who exists in the story that could pull up, explain this to us in a way that, like, okay, it makes sense that you know that, because the mom is dead, the dad is dead. You know what I mean?
Everyone that interacted with him as a youth is dead. Like the Yakuza don't know, because they're zombies and now dead, and like their relatives are dead. The Katana Devil's gone. Like,
explain this, like, you know what I mean, like in a way that doesn't feel weird that like someone unrelated is explaining it to us.
Also, I don't. That's the thing. I think he will never really. He might touch on it in like part 2, but at the same time, there's that part of me like, it's like, I don't think he ever will, because like it's like, if the whole series is based on like the sense of like a horror movie, right? Like if it's based on the genre of a horror movie, monster is best when there are parts unexplained about it.
Can you like, repeat that? Your internet kind of like spiked for a second.
Sorry. But like if this manga is based off like a horror genre of movies, horror works best when things aren't explained, when they're only barely alluded, like The Mist, Bird Box, The Thing. Like once you see the zipper on the back of the monster, it's over. You're not afraid of it anymore. You know too much. It stops becoming a monster. And so I think that like, but that's the thing. Maybe really that's a moment where in the part 2, Denji, we get to know Denji and we stop being afraid for him or of him. You know,
kind of like in Promised Neverland, how like a lot of the appeal in Promised Neverland was the mystery and like not knowing anything about such a weird world and wanting to know everything. You know what I mean? And then the more you find out about the demons and the society that they really live in outside of Gracefield House, like I don't want to say that it took a lot of that flair away. I mean, it did for me. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean?
I was almost disappointed. I'm like, wow, you devils like had the same weaknesses as us. That's weak.
Yeah.
Like, why were you just us?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You're just swole.
I was afraid of you.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So what if you're stronger than me? You still suck at politics.
Yeah. Hey.
But yeah, no, I think
Go ahead.
One of the biggest questions for me, my favorite mystery is just Kobeni, right? Like,
yeah, dude.
Yes.
Know her contract.
What is her contract?
Yes, what's her contract? Like, obviously, there's no way to put a part 2 and leave all these questions open about Kobeni and not have her be very prominent in this. I mean, I guess the part 3, but regardless, in the story in the future, Kobeni, there's just no way in hell we're not going to get Kobeni shit. Like Kobeni,
she's one of the few remaining living characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta bring her back.
Yeah.
It's the only one. It's her and
Yoshida.
and Kishibe. And Yoshida barely even counts because Yoshida was never in public safety, right? He's a freelance devil hunter.
But I want to see more of him regardless. But yes,
me too.
Continue anyway.
Yes, because that drawing of that fucking octopus in that one chapter was like the best, my favorite drawing in like all of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder what his devil actually is.
I think it's octopus. Like
octopus,
that makes sense.
Octopus,
Or like
and it's
the Kraken
such a tight devil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure,
It could just be. It could like
manifestation
literally
of sea fears.
Dagon the contract.
Sure.
Because he does do like Lovecraftian references, like the light, the star that steals children's minds or stuff like that.
Right.
Wow.
Terrifying shit.
Yeah.
No, that it makes you wonder. Is like, okay, does the Chainsaw Man fight like Lovecraftian level stuff?
Yeah.
Like just reality warping things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kobeni, because like her family got so much money, and then Kobeni was always working for her family. So once the family's paid off, she might actually be free. And like she talks about like we're always doing something for someone because of our obligations. And what can she be without her obligations? I'm curious to find out. Also, I have a fan theory that she traded her like natural gracefulness to a devil, and that's why she's a klutz and fucks up everything.
Oh, sure.
She just traded up her. She traded her
dexterity,
ability, or like
dex for luck. Like it's a luck devil, but she traded her dexterity or something.
Center of gravity. Traded her center of gravity, and that would make sense when she turns it on. I don't know, maybe not during DDR. That's the tough one.
Yeah, that's where she's got all the center of gravity control.
And she, but she's you see her very fucking physically adept at other points in the story too.
Yeah.
And but those points she activates. She like grabs the knife out, holds Sawatari to the neck,
like a completely different
flips
character.
and dodge, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, like night and day.
She just turns. Exactly.
Jack Chan in that stuff. It's just like how.
Kira mentioned in the chat. What if she traded her dignity as part of her contract? Right?
Like,
she's
I never had
always
it to
got the
begin
short
with.
end of the stick. She's always getting shit on. You know what I mean? Like everything in her life. Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
I like that.
I really
that explains it well. Yeah.
Well, and I really would. It really would blow the power system open to have something like dignity, like a non-tangible taken from you, because it's always like you took an organ from me, you took you took so I guess lifespan is not tangible, but it feels tangible in a way of it feels a little bit more tangible, I guess, to me than like something like dignity, right? That would be really cool, because that just blows the power system wide open. I would love to see that.
Seems more tangible than dignity.
Yes.
Definitely.
I mean, dignity is like almost like luck. Like you're just put into situations that you're going to get the short end of the stick and be shit on or something. Like, but is that luck or is that just fate? Some sort of.
Is that why she was so good at DDR? Is because she looked horrible at that? I'm crying, snot running down my nose. I have zero dignity. Yeah, you're killing it. Perfect. Nailed it. Okay, great.
Because I was thinking about it too. I was like, no, because dignity. I like the way that you explained it, Nick, in regard to like luck. But as soon as we bring up dignity, I'm starting to think about like. We really see Kobeni in a lot of really like ingloriously depicted, like, like she is always looking less than ideal. You know what I mean? Like all the time, she's always either getting embarrassed or, something
breaking
like that.
down.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And yeah, I would like that, I think.
That'd be such a weird. I think it would be an interesting contract for her because, like, based on her family situation, she probably felt like she never had any. You know, she's like, "Oh, you want my dignity? Sure, take it. I've never really had it." And the devil's just like, "Oh, you have no idea."
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay, gentlemen, we are at the hour and 30-minute point.
I got a couple good things to say though.
Oh, no, I'm not saying we're done.
Okay.
I'm saying
good.
I'm saying I want to like go into like final thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, final thoughts.
Because this is something where, you know, this conversation could be an hour and a half, or it could be the longest conversation that we ever had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm happy that we are
definitely.
like kind of starting to naturally feel like we're winding down at the hour and 30-minute
sure.
point. So I just figured this would be a good time to just throw final thoughts out there in whatever form that may take. But go ahead.
And then let me quickly just give you that Nayuta is a character in a Fujimoto one-shot.
What?
Yes, Yogen no Nayuta. And it's a tale about a prophecy involving a girl with horns who is said to bring destruction upon the world and her brother. And it's like she's seen in... like first scenes of her, she's like in a alleyway, and she's like wrung a stray cat to death. Basically, it's just bleeding. She's got blood all over her, but she's like super like doesn't know what she's doing. Right? Yeah. So like
not a cat person.
Not a cat person.
Dog person.
It's like a devil. Has spiral eyes too. Eyes too. Yes. Fujimoto has had Makima in his back pocket for probably his life, right? For a long time, bro. For a long time.
I love it when they recycle things. It's like the guy who did Shaman King, where he definitely recycles certain characters.
Gege, I feel like is doing that to a certain extent with, you know, their previous works inside of their one shots before Jujutsu Kaisen.
Sure.
I feel like we've been seeing some number 9 stuff. Yeah.
That's really cool.
And like the My Hero stuff, where it's like Snipe.
Yeah. Oh.
I guess really a big final thought for me that I want to say is I just feel like starting this part 2 in this, Denji's just getting into school. He's maturing and taking care of this girl, whatever. You're adding this slice of life element to a shonen where it's like usually you get slice of life shit at the beginning, right? Like and it's like warming up and crescendoing upwards where it's like Fujimoto's going to give you this, you know, I'm going to lay the groundwork out now. I'm going to take a step back, maybe for a while, just for a little bit to warm up part 2. And just adding this like slice of life, presumably slice of life elements to start warming it up. It could get dark real fast, and I could be wrong about this completely, but it just feels so fresh, like to me, to be like, we're going to go from a shonen that's not really a shonen. I'm going to just fit a seinen into a shonen, fucking into the concepts just enough to get into the shonen magazine, right? And then I'm going to make it wholesome, step back, you know, here, and then probably ramp up for the fucking biggest heartbreaks of our life.
For sure. If Fujimoto is doing like slice of life, let's see what it's like with Denji at school. It's like, nah, you ain't getting me, pimp. Nah, I know, I'm on to you, buddy.
It's just the order in which this story is being told just feels very different and fresh to me. And I mean, I could not be more excited for a part 2 than anything I've ever read in my life, unless there's a One Piece Shippuden going to come out. You know, like
Hunter x Hunter 2, Electric Boogaloo. Well, we got to finish the first one.
Ways for that.
So one of the things that I'm kind of like I thought about this Chainsaw Man series is that this was the backstory. Like, because you always have the shonen protagonist, hey, I'm starting school, and I've got a kid sister, and here's my family life, and everything's kind of like pretty good right now. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
This is his backstory, period.
Oh my god, dude.
This whole thing was just his backstory.
Cool.
That's amazing.
So, like, because you start the manga and you meet the main character when he's like 16. He's had a life before the story started. You know what I mean? And then the development gives us that information as the story continues. But to have that backstory exist as like a
main story,
prequel, I don't even. That's cool, dude.
It's like a Game of Thrones where like the hero already succeeded, saved the girl, fought, died, and like had kids, and then the rest of the story that you start with is just the supporting characters, the jolly bumbling sidekick, the cunning friend, and all these people like just kind of trying to survive without that moral compass that was the main character after they're dead.
Sure.
And so like for me, I got that vibe from Chainsaw Man. It was just like
it's almost like
cool.
It's almost like you run D&D and shit, like just with those explanations. You got
It's almost like you're a DM or something, bro. You should get paid for this or something.
Dude, I'm excited. But like
I got
at
the
Melly,
jolly old friend and the cunning other guy and this other guy with great stats in this fucking place, you know, like whatever.
You just came out of a one shot before the stream.
yeah, that's true.
And I think this fits in perfectly with the fact that most of the characters at the end of part 1 are dead, right? Like most, like 90% of the characters are dead. You need new characters, and so let's just start completely fresh, like 100% fresh. We're gonna have Nayuta, we're gonna have Denji. That's it.
Yeah.
He's got
all the characters in part 2, for the most part. I mean, Kobeni will come back as like, oh shit, it's Kobeni, goddamn shit. But like, it's supposed to be mostly new characters, as if, as you said, like we're starting fresh, and everything we've seen so far is a prequel, quote unquote.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Vinland
what I
Saga
felt like
vibes.
because, and also, I really want prior to part 1 information too. So like, it was just really hit to go.
Kishibe's story would be great for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even what? Yeah, exactly. If in Kishibe has his own story, he could look back on maybe like with Denji to just kind of get the starters.
You're still
but like
talking
just
about Denji. I was talking about just like
because
general concepts in Chainsaw Man in general that we could get through Kishibe's origin.
because having Denji very, just abruptly appear, and obviously it's the first chapter, so it doesn't, but it's still like for a shonen, right? Like you have this character that's gone through this shit, right? Like, and he's already 16, right? Like, and it's like he's lived X amount of shitty life already, and how did he get to this point? And so like, regardless of what Makima was showing to him, if that was what happened, whatever, like regardless if what he knows is fact or not, it just would be, I think it would really hit to like have part 1, have part 2 slice of life it for a little bit, start to ramp up, give us backstory to Electric Boogaloo, I guess. And, like I don't know, like I think it would just do, or maybe even deeper into the story than that, especially if it's, I mean, obviously it would be huge information that would be very, heart-wrenching and stuff, because how did he get one testicle, one eye, eating moldy sandwiches with a chainsaw? Like, that's
and then he gets the whole new lease on life. Like, damn.
Yeah.
I think that part 2 is going to have a bit of like that, like, it's going to give you like the ordered, like, relatable shonen thing. I'm going to school. This is my family life. I live with 7 dogs and a cat. It's a little wild. I'm running with toast in my mouth, that kind of thing. And then it's just gonna slowly derail and just become classic Fujimoto.
I just remembered Kim Jong-un's like sister on the memes for like running like with like toast in her mouth.
Oh man, it was nuts.
But
oh man,
I want the opening scene of part 2 to be Denji dismantling Makima.
Yeah,
like
dude,
I want it to
that'd
be
such
real
a
dark
cool
to start.
opening. Yeah.
And
now day 1 of high school, right after
like
that.
Nightmare,
Yes.
remember
Nightmare in his dream.
Wakes up for his first day of school.
Or he's already in class.
Or he's already in class and he's asleep.
Oh shit! And he's just like having the crazy.
Or he's going to school and it's like, there's hamburgers, and he's like, I don't want this.
I
come
can't
on,
eat
man,
any
they're burgers.
meat
And he's
anymore,
like, don't.
sorry.
Dude, Denji's a vegan now?
Dude, a vegetarian.
I'd fuck with that.
Yeah, obviously.
It's like, well, if you're not gonna eat the meat, I'll eat it. Blah blah blah. He's oh, lucky.
Man, Nick, I just thought about you so much reading these last chapters. It's just like, this has to be a really tough read for a vegan, because this is a tough read for a meat eater. It's like, oh man, like it's so gross. Extreme juice, and it's just like, oh man.
Extreme juice.
You get used to it. I mean, like I read like Golden Comedy with a lot of meats and cooking and stuff and whatever. So you get used to it for sure.
A lot of people get eaten in berserk a lot.
You know that Denji put in a bunch of pre-workout in the extreme juice and just tried to work up another appetite.
Promise Neverland. There's a lot of fucking stories where meat is being eaten in gross ways.
Big vegan energy in Promise Neverland for sure.
I think it's really interesting that like almost everything I've read from Fujimoto involves cannibalism.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
damn.
like Fire Punch starts with cannibalism.
I didn't even know. That's crazy.
And then Chainsaw Man ends with cannibalism. I'm
Beautiful.
like, wow, you really went full circle.
How much
again.
full circling
Like,
are we going to do, Fujimoto? This isn't fair at this point.
I'm on a merry-go-round and I can't get up.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
You guys have
whoa.
you guys have any? Did you guys have anything else? As far as like final thoughts go.
No. Nah.
Maybe one little quick joke here. I mean, I don't know, it could happen. But is Retsei going to be in his class? Like,
Oh.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Wait.
Oh, not her class, not his class. Like he's in like class like 2C and she's in class like 2B, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
she's got to be in
sure.
a different class.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Because we got to learn. We got to like see him make new friends, chill for a little bit, and then like go to lunch and see Retsei like across.
Yes.
the
Yes.
fucking-
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta be like, wait a
Oh,
minute.
man. But like that raises so many questions for me. Is just like, what happened to those devils that Makima was like keeping alive through like a layered, interlocking amount of contracts and powers? Are they still alive without her? Are they going to die and then immediately get reborn? Is one of his classes suddenly going to like lose their memory and become this new devil? That's like, hey, I gravitate towards you. We are like beyond life and death. Our souls gravitated towards each other.
Shit.
Stop, bro. Stop. This is too much, fellow.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be, diving into public safety, like all the information, like in public safety that we don't know, like big, more global governmental, whatever issues, fucking geopolitical shit. Obviously, we had it. It was mentioned very clearly and a lot of times in this fucking chapter, or I mean, in this arc, this part, whatever. So, like, I mean, we're definitely going to get a lot of that type of shit. And it's man, I cannot be more excited. But yeah, that's all I got.
Momentary brain thing, because they ended with like public security, and then the joke earlier of like private school. Would the last arc could just be a PS post society and just be an apocalypse?
Oh man,
Yo.
man. So much potential inside of this like continuation.
It's just
of
rich.
The story.
It's so fertile.
Yeah.
So fertile. That's a great way to put it.
I love that word for this. Yes.
Hello, man. Come on, man. Fuck yeah, you guys. Well, oh wait, I haven't done my final thoughts. Okay, final thoughts. Okay, you want to know what? We had an incredible conversation through and through. I feel like this was very dense with theories, analysis, deep dive, character study, whatever. I feel like that was great. As far as what I'm most excited for in the future, is really just like who is going to be inspired by Chainsaw Man and what stories are we going to see in the future?
Sure.
Because like you see, and I talk about this all the time, is like how like mangaka leave their imprint inside of their classics, you know what I mean? And like how they influence the next generation, because you have Naruto, who gave us Rock Lee. Now every story that has a power system has a Rock Lee character. You know what I mean? Like, what is that going to mean for the future of like huge Fujimoto stands in Japan that become mangaka because of him? You know what I mean? Now I understand that he has such a different style that like you can't even like replicate it. Maybe like people are going to try to do like a series similar to Chainsaw Man for like the next couple years, maybe like the next like 5 to 7 years, and they're going to like blow it, you know what I mean, get axed a bunch while they figure it out. But then like once that dust settles and motherfuckers like really understand like what Fujimoto was really trying to do, what are those stories moving forward after they try and fail a couple times, after the trial and error of trying to replicate Fujimoto is done, and we just have great homages and references to his work in the future. What the fuck is that gonna look like? That's what I'm most excited.
Because like my gig is stories, and I feel inspired by Fujimoto. Yes. Like, apathetic antagonist. It's like, why are you messing with me? You caught my attention, and I'm literally just here for cruel amusement. I don't actually care about you. I love antagonists that don't actually have like a personal stake in the protagonist.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thanks, Fujimoto.
Yes, thanks, Fujimoto. What a great way to go into the into the wrap up phase here. But yes, thank you, Fujimoto. Of course, thank all of you guys out there for hanging out with us during this first episode of One Shots for season 3 of Project Manga. If you guys are new here, I implore you, check out our About section, see everything that we do. Normally, we're critics, review analysts, manga enthusiasts that review Weekly Shonen Jump on YouTube, but this is obviously where we come for other live shows, manga live readings, playing games, whatever we really want to do that's not as structured as the YouTube situation. So beep us, you know what I'm saying? Follow us on Twitter, join our Discord, growing every day, incredible conversations, incredible people, one of the best communities that I've ever been, inside of just like fiction fandom. You know what I mean? And I'm not just saying that 'cause it's ours. Like legitimately, just go in there and see. You know what I mean? So But one shots, Chainsaw Man finale. Incredible conversation, you guys. Mello, thank you so much for joining us again tonight.
Of course, always a pleasure.
Knew I wanted to have you here because like the couple times that you've been, and obviously we're close friends, we've known each other for a long time. We talk about manga all day. But as far as like this conversation, I just remember when you were on our original show, those Chainsaw Man conversations just slapped when you were on, bro. Like they were different, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah,
Fujimoto brings it out of me, man.
Yeah. I was like, I'm bringing in Mello. But also Red Gears, thank you for the follow. Spaced 142, thank you for the follow. King Levi 110, thank you. Tradition and Didex _. You guys are incredible. Thank you all so much for following. And Tradition _ you actually subscribed as well. You're fucking champion. Thank you so much. And yeah, you guys, that is going to do it for this episode of One Shots. Wrapping up, I'm your host Knox.
Peace, y'all. It's Theory Devil.
And Nickums.